Good evening, everyone. I have been a long-time PHP developer, and I have to say I absolutely love the language. What I don't really love is HTML, and unfortunately HTML often comes as a legacy to all of our PHP applications. So I've been working on a UI toolkit which would help us develop nice-looking web applications without the need to write any HTML. And that's called Agiletoolkit. So at this point, the whole thing is done, and I'm looking to integrate this toolkit with many different frameworks out there. It works fine with WordPress. It integrates pretty cool with Joomla and CodeIgniter, but I need your experience from different frameworks. So if you'd like to help me get this, what I'm going to show you on your platform and running natively, then please do get in touch with me. So yeah, that's a long presentation. So I'm going to be skipping slides. Yeah, this is a, oops. So this slide summarizes what Steve Jobs said when he was presenting Next. And he said that developers spend more and more time on building user interface, and they shouldn't. They should, the interface should be coming as a package, and they just need to focus on what's essential to them. Right now, when we developed, it's like half and half. We use some frameworks in the backend, and in UI, we have a choice of all sorts of things, something like that. And again, there is no connection between. If you look at Agiletoolkit, it comes as a layer on all three of those lines. So the core and components and add-ons, they all exist in three different layers on the PHP, API, and JavaScript, which means if I develop a plugin, it could contribute a new view to your application, and it will perfectly integrate within your deployment and your theme. That's a good example of how I can, for example, make a form. So I don't, as you see, there's no HTML in here, and the form looks pretty good. It works with validation. It also supports JavaScript callbacks and events. So it's fully Ajaxified, and it takes advantage of jQuery, jQuery UI, and Widget Factory. So there's pretty much under the hood in there, but it is pretty simple. And as you can see, I'm not losing in styles. I can still customize what kind of color button I'd like to have, and so on. Here I'm adding some additional conditions on the form, and this is an example how the whole page looks. So inside the page I might have a frame. In a frame I would have a form. A form would consist of smaller elements, and then because the whole thing is object-oriented, I can easily redefine any part of this stack. Such as come up with a new type of buttons or customize the buttons. Just a few screenshots of real-life applications. There have been many of them, and as you can see, nothing consistent about the interface over there. A huge market for this, and there are already hundreds of people who use that in production projects, is backends, CRUD systems, and administration interfaces, because it's really easy to manage data with these things. Okay, I probably will run out of time in this presentation, but I'm just wanted to show how you can assign callbacks. So here I'm saying that when the button is being clicked, the form is going to fade out. And because it's integrated with jQuery, I can use practically any jQuery add-on without any modifications. Just drop it in and it works. Few ways of, okay, another example. So again, any complex UI is doable in this. And yeah, I probably won't go in this. I only have 1 minute left. So again, I just wanted to tell you that it's not really the framework in the way how you understand it. It's more of the UI toolkit. So it gives you a lot of the UI elements. And what I'm looking to do is integrate that into as many solutions as possible. So should I go into questions?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Sure. I have been using it with a mobile jQuery Touch, but we didn't do the mobile gap because it requires PHP, and with PhoneGuard, the application essentially runs on the client. So no. Yes, it supports themes, and the theme. So it comes with a standard theme which is based on jQuery UI and theme roller. You can either customize that, or you can come up with your own theme.
Does it define any CSS? Does it play nicely with, say, Twitter Bootstrap?
We started this before Twitter Bootstrap came out, and if they would be faster, we would definitely be using them. We're using the compatible grid system, and it's very similar in many aspects. So at some point, we'll have a skin for Bootstrap as well, but we don't have yet.
How are loading times affected by this compared to using normal HTML?
Essentially what it does, it splits your home page into blocks and then puts one blocks into another blocks. So definitely there is a performance degradation because of that. So we operating with more templates, but it's really not as big. So big application use that. We don't abstract HTML elements, so we're not putting BRs inside divs. So it's only big chunks of HTML which we assign with the object. It's using MVP architecture, and our objects are coupled with the HTML templates.
How big is it? So how many lines of code and projects and classes?
I'll tell you how big the CRUD implementation is, and it's roughly around 100 lines of code. But again, the whole thing is very modular and it's very compact. So if you compare with grocery CRUD from CodeIgniter, the CRUD component itself is much smaller, but it relies on many other components which play nicely with each other. Thank you.